Hello, lore heads, and welcome to the League, exploring the League of Legends lore from A to Z. My name is Rebecca.
And I'm John.
My name is Mark.
Today we're talking about the Lady of Clockwork, Orianna, who was released June 1st, 2011. What's with
So
June?
close.
I don't know. Early June is like it.
Yeah, every champion's got to be a Gemini. It's the rule.
John's a real zodiac head.
The only way to tell your future. Just the other day, my fortune said I was going to do something, and then I did. So, I mean, that's pretty good.
Ooh, spooky.
It said you'd do that.
You will disappoint your wife today.
That could be my
That's just a
fucking...
given.
So that's a given.
That could be my fortune every day.
Yeah. On the Riot Universe page, Orianna has a bio and a short story and some very horrifying early concept art. Horrifying is a strong word. Creepy. It's creepy.
It's
I mean,
stylized.
Yes.
She's a very creepy, like, champion.
I know. I love her.
And you can tell they're kind of trying to, like, move away from that with the new lore a little bit, but
No.
they never redid her voice lines, so she's still creepy as fuck.
I honestly don't think that they should. I like her lore. Obviously, we'll get into it. I say stick with the creepy. It fits.
I kind of agree. Did you read the old lore?
Oh,
No.
you bet I did.
Well, of course, John.
I know, John. Yeah, I was curious because I'm of like two minds about which I like more, and I think I kind of side with y'all that I like the. I guess we'll talk about it when we get to it, but it's like I think it's very different. I think they've completely changed her around, and the voice lines don't match up like at all. This in my mind.
No, not even a little bit.
Yeah. So
Interesting. Yeah, they are very dark, her voice lines. That's part of what appealed me to her, obviously, was I liked the look of her a lot, obviously, and I found it interesting. I like her gameplay a lot. Orianna, I think, is really unique and fun, and she was the first champion I heard the words high skill cap that I wasn't horrendously terrible with. So that was exciting.
Yeah,
Sure,
it's weird to like read this new lore and then listen to the voice lines again and be like, oh, this is the girl who gave herself up to save everyone, huh? Okay.
It's a little misaligned.
Everyone.
So speaking of which, what does Orianna sound like? I know you know what she sounds like. She's been various quotes of hers have been your ringtone for a while, I feel like, or notification noise.
Yeah, when she said ravage, that was my text message sound for a while. Yeah. I mean, none of us are going to be good at impressions of her.
How
She
dare
sounds
you.
like a robot. You did write down the two quotes that I think of the most when I think of Orianna. We will kill your enemies. That will be fun. But imagine a robot saying that.
Yeah, a little mental filter
Yeah.
over all of this.
Imagine GLaDOS saying it.
Time ticks away.
I know what makes them tick. I know how to make the ticking stop.
That really sounded like a GLaDOS impression more than an Orianna.
They're the same person.
No. She's a little bit more whimsical than GLaDOS.
They're both happy to be doing what they're doing, and in both cases, that thing is killing.
Well, not according to her lore.
No, she's a good girl. Never hurt nobody.
She's a good girl. She's replacing her innards.
All right, well,
Robot.
John knows his ex parody song. You have to do that one. That's really, really good.
Oh my god, and she's freeballing.
Oh my god. Oh shit.
That's something else. Please don't say free balling. I mean, ballin' has to be the second word, but
Sorry, it's too late. It's
all right,
freeballing.
Free ballin'.
It's chiseled in the tablets. There's no takesies backsies.
John descending from on high with his parody lyrics.
Shall I go over Orianna?
Rocket.
I just have her bio opened. I didn't take notes. I really genuinely wanted to, but our kid did not want a nap today. So a lot of my day was just holding her constantly.
This is by Rayla Hyde,
Rayla
who also
Hyde.
did the short story.
Okay. So Orianna, was a normal girl in Piltover. Her dad's name was, how do you say that?
I was assuming Corin Revit.
Corin, because Corinne is like a girl's name, right?
Yeah, I would have expected another N and an E at the end for Corinne.
Yeah.
So, yes, Corin. I love this line. Famous for his masterful craft in artificial limbs. Yeah, he just makes steampunk arms.
They look real
Corin
cool.
does. Well, yeah, Orianna's his daughter, right? Blah blah blah.
Yada yada yada. And she's there. Orianna.
And Orianna, our robot.
Oh man.
Do you want me to do this? I read it.
All right, Orianna. I'm not even going to look at the bio.
Yeah,
Let's just try to see if I remember
Just
it.
freeball it.
Yeah.
I'm going to freeball the shit out of this. They're
No safety
swanging
net.
deep. So Orianna's dad was pretty protective of her. She seemed really fascinated with Zon, and he's like, that's a no-go. Zon's bad and scary. And something about ballet. He would take her to see dances, yes, plays and stuff. He's like, that's like somewhere safe where you can't freeball it with evil people. So that's what we'll do. And Orianna also likes to make little craftwork things. She would make little craftwork dancers. One day, there was like a chem explosion in Zon, and a lot of people died, and Orianna wanted to go down and help them, and her dad was like, no. That's a bad place. That's the bad place, as I've explained. So Orianna snuck out at night and went to help anyway, and she helped lots of people, and she gave up her mask. And by the time she got back up to Piltover, she was very sick. And
Her lungs were ravaged.
Yeah, just waiting for that. He was staring at me. I was wondering why you were looking at me so intently, and it's because you were waiting.
It's because you're beautiful and I love you.
It was because you were waiting for
Because you're beautiful and I love you.
me to get to that part. Anyway, her lungs were ravaged, and her dad had to replace them with some, fake artificial lungs. But the illness kept spreading, and so slowly over time, he had to continuously replace her parts until all that was left was her human heart. Orianna at this point was like not really herself anymore. She kind of still made little trinkets, but didn't really know why she was doing them. There wasn't any heart in them anymore, despite having her heart. But then her dad gets sick. He got sick, and she had to give up her heart in order to save him. So she replaced her heart with an artificial one. No. She got the hex crystal. Right. She got a hex crystal from McKem Baron, made her ball so she can now truly free ball it wherever she goes, as her no heart desires. And yeah, Corin got her heart. She doesn't need it anymore. And then she left him. Is that what happened in the end? She's just like, peace, Dad. I'm not really like your little girl anymore. Yeah.
Well, because she she had a debt. And I think she was afraid that they were going to come after.
Yes.
The Chem Barons were going to come after her.
That's
dad.
true.
Probably.
Yes. Oh, they ran out. That's right. They ran out of money, and they eventually had to move to Zon. I forgot about that part. Sorry. Because her dad owed money.
Because he's spending all his money trying to replace his daughter's body parts. And
so eventually they were living in Zon by the time all this was over. So how does Singed come into play with this?
I mean,
is Corin Singed?
Corin might be. Well, we never learned Singed's name.
Okay.
It's completely feasible that they started calling him Singed after the explosion that singed his face.
Yeah.
That's fair. So this could be Singe's backstory as well, but probably not. Was Singe tied to her old lore? Is that no?
That's
Why
just
did
an
I think that they were
arcane
connected?
Well,
it's just an arcane thing. Okay, you're right. I kind of like the idea. I don't know Singe lore, obviously, but I do kind of like the idea that this man is Singed.
I do like the idea of having a loving father who slowly had to replace all his daughter's parts until she was no longer human. And then at some point after losing the daughter that he had replaced all the points for, he became no longer human just because of his own God, what do I have to live for anyway? Fuck it. I'm going to make some shimmer. I'm going to cause chemical warfare in Ionia. Fuck it.
Yeah,
he did break bad,
yeah, he does break bad a little bit.
he also kind of
I'm just basing this off Singed in Arcane. I don't know what he's like in League, but he seems to separate people from his experiments in a way that's really interesting that I could see having happened after everything that happened with Orianna.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, and it kind of goes along with, there was a father-daughter relationship's a big part of what's going on in Arcane Season 1. So continuing that in Season 2 could be an interesting through line. I feel like they'd probably try and get in some other themes and ideas, but it would be a nice, maybe connective tissue between the two. I think it could work totally fine for Arcane. I mean, for, League Prime, whatever universe, Singed is way more maniacal and, just a war criminal type shit. He's very Mengele, you can't really... It would be kind of weird there, I think. But for Arcane, it's a much more, it's more mature. Right.
Yeah, and there's I could see the Singe that's in Arcane. I could see having come from a place where he was a good person, and he's just not anymore.
It's interesting.
I could see that. Yeah. I also maybe just want to see Orianna. I think. I
mean, she would go really well with Victor. I think that's something I feel a little disappointed because I didn't know what Orianna's lore currently was. I knew the old lore, and it's she has a lot of she could interact with Blitzcrank. She could interact with Victor. There's a lot of potential there, but she's really underwritten. She has the one short story, so they don't explore any of those avenues. So you could totally have her in there with Full Metal Victor, and get into that.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. I love so when her lungs started failing, it said that after weeks of sleepless nights, he developed, these lungs to replace hers. And after weeks, this dude developed the world's first set of fully functional mechanical lungs. Fucking dude was a mad lad.
He was that good. So that's something I kind of like in the old lore that I think harp on more is that he kind of drove himself. This also would kind of tie into Arcane Singe, is that he seems to have driven himself almost to madness in doing it in the old lore. Here, it's a lot more everything's a little nicer. This is the Disney version of the old lore, where he's just a loving father. But in the old lore, he's his place is fucked up, and that's the only thing that he's obsessed with is getting Orianna back.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it was not a slow replacement of parts in the old lore.
Yeah, that's also true.
Okay. I do kind of like the idea here where it's very slowly happening. But I would like it if it was less Disneyfied. That's a good way to put it. This does feel like the beginning of a Pixar film.
And he was very Mother Gothel, right?
Oh, yeah.
Make it specifically putting a key on her lungs that he needed to wind so that she could not go down.
Honestly, we say he's a loving father, but he made it so her lungs had to be wound up so she couldn't leave home for too long. That's fucked up. That is very Mother Gothel, actually. We're saying Disney it's very light, but
I wish that's something that got more play, frankly.
Yes.
I guess the thing is that the story portrays it as a loving relationship when it's
it
that
does.
detail is
he's very
it's dark,
That's really dark. It's very controlling. It's super abusive. Yeah, that's true.
What happens if she does go anyway? Does she just die?
Does she die, or does she just shut down for a minute? But no, I feel like he would just die. She would just die.
Yeah, that would be a great little short story. It's it's a little Nightmare Before Christmas, right? A little Sally and the doctor,
That's very Sally.
And I think what I like too about it is that it's a wrong thing for him to do, but at the very least you can understand his perspective, because the one time she went out and did shit, oops, my lungs are fucked and I got turned into a robot.
Yeah.
It's character motivations make a lot of sense in those things. I wish that was the core of what happened after she as in the whole second half of the bio, rather it's one mention and then that's all we ever hear of that key, except that she gets it when she leaves. I don't know.
And how does she feel about that? And I would like the idea of her having a more complicated relationship with him, because she does kind of go through a lot to make sure he doesn't die, and I understand why she does that. He's the only person who's ever been in her life, really, and that's a really complicated relationship. I think to see her struggle with that, this obligation, I have to save him, but then I have to go.
Yeah.
Because I'm literally giving up the last part of myself.
Yeah.
And I mean, speaking of the comparison between this and Nightmare Before Christmas, also her parting thing where she just like slips him a sleeping potion and then cuts him open to do open heart surgery on.
That's true. How easy is open heart surgery in Runeterra?
I mean,
Orianna's no doctor. She's very smart, but being intelligent and making little clockwork ballerinas doesn't mean that you can cut open someone's chest cavity.
I made an
Well,
action
she knows
figure
what
or
makes
two.
them tick, and she knows how to make the ticking stuff.
So, talking about old lore, I read a very new, I read 2 bios. One that was the old Institute of War one, which is completely different, and then one that was very recent, which was pretty much this, but it had a lot more like things fleshed out, and I kind of liked it more. I don't know why they went with this version, and it mentions things like that where she is really good. She kind of takes over running the business when he's starting to get sick, and it also goes into a little bit more of these weird interactions between them, where like there are times where he has to kind of like she's becoming more and more like a weird automaton, and he has to like correct her when she's like behaving like a weird robot, or like yeah, he takes her back to the theater and. And she leaves the like halfway through, and she's like, "Oh, I've learned everything I need from this," instead of like enjoying it like she used to. And I wish we got some of those interactions back a little bit.
I like
really
that.
cool.
That is really cool because they just kind of tell us that she isn't connecting as a human anymore. They don't give us examples like that. I like the idea that she leaves during like leaving halfway through a movie and being like, "Oh, okay, I get it now."
Yeah.
And the old lore was actually like even the original lore was actually very good at drawing that distinction of like shit she was trying to do to seem more human.
Yeah, the judgment in
interesting.
particular is pretty good. I really like the
Yeah.
judgment for her. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this one has. I think this one, the dreaded P word, has a lot of potential. There's a lot of things you could get into with what's set up here. I think it's just that, like I said, she's got one short story, and I like the short story, but
Yeah.
this is like
This is a weird one to even say potential on because they have alternate versions of this that are better,
yeah.
including potentially the original. I mean, obviously the original is more roughly written, but like thematically, like, I mean, obviously they had to get rid of it because it was tied very heavily into the League, but
It's true. I do feel like you could probably just tweak some things and you could get it there. You know, I think when I say potential, it's like, I know I mentioned Victor, I mentioned Blitzcrank. Camille's like almost like a weird mirror to her, right? What was the last thing she
right.
gave up with her heart? And what's the one thing Camille's like really got is that heart. You know, it's like, it's almost written as if that was an intention that has never been followed up on. I don't think
that's
so.
really
but-
interesting because yeah, you're right. Orianna is kind of like, I don't even want to say the dark version because Camille's story is really dark too, where she's like,
Camille's the dark version.
she's willingly getting these upgrades,
Yeah.
whereas Orianna, you know, they're essential to her
Yeah.
living.
Yeah.
But
And family is
The
a big
difference
thing
between
with
living in
them.
Piltover and Zon.
oh shit, I like that.
That's what I'm saying. Is Orianna is like a foil to like multiple characters in this region, and it's so, like I said, it's like there's a lot of potential, and it's kind of a shame that she doesn't get to explore like interactions with Blitzcrank, which they go into a little bit in the old lore, like the comparison between the two, or Camille. Like I said, I think that's a great avenue for storytelling with her. But
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do some real cool stories here if they want. Honestly, I would be just happy if they did a VO update that even touched on some of these connections. Like that would be a good start because just like the stark difference between the new direction they wanted to take her lore and her VO is jarring.
yeah, to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we wanna
Also,
talk
I thought
about
it was very cute that. So basically, she owes a ton of money to a Chem Baron for this crystal that she made of her heart, and she was afraid that they were just gonna like do bad stuff. So she was like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna put this heart somewhere where they can't get it. I'm gonna give it to my dad." And I feel like she has never met a Chem Baron in her life. If she thinks that is gonna
Maybe
be a safe place for that heart.
Maybe she hopes they won't know that's where it is, or would be able to tie her to him. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, is what they're after not the Hextech crystal, which is in the orb, right? The ball.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're right though, right? Like Where's the first place they're
not
going to
after
fucking
the
look?
crystal. They're after like payment for the crit because they
that's
sold
true.
it to her fair and square. She just never paid them.
I thought it
And
was
it
that
seems
she
like
paid...
going after the organs of your loved ones is the favored way of getting payment.
Yeah, I thought it was that she paid them, but they did that mob thing where like it doesn't matter
that
how
was
much you pay
payment
them.
one.
Yeah, they'll just keep you're
Yeah.
just indebted forever. You're
Yeah.
completely right, and that would also again that would be a nice little, if you wanted to add a little more darkness to it. You could kind of pull the trigger on that, where she's got like and since she's become so detached, she doesn't like get that like, oh, it doesn't work that way. It's not about like this sort of fair equivalent exchange. Like they're just going to take whatever they can from you. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
she's very Ship of Theseus in this version of the story as
I don't know
opposed
what
to
that is.
the old version. It's that thought experiment, like, hey, if you replace one piece of a ship, how many pieces do you have to repair before it is no longer the same ship?
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like we've talked about that even. I've just never remembered the name of it.
Because it came up in WandaVision too.
Oh, yeah, you have explained that to me before.
oh, I've not watched it.
But yeah, do we want to hop into Firum? Is that what we're
I
Firum?
didn't know how to pronounce.
I said Firum.
Yeah, that's kind of where I
know.
went.
Yeah, my mind went to Firum too. So we'll go with Firum.
Sure, the Fiddlesticks
And
classic.
Rayla, if we're
Theorem.
wrong, hit us up.
I guess Firum would maybe be.
P5 fo
P5
Forum. I
We
smell
all
the blood
have.
of an English schmorum.
Theorem. Yeah. Yeah, so this is following Orianna. She's going to like a fairground kind of after hours. Because there is another automaton there.
Which fair? Because it's the best name for a fair.
I don't remember. It's got 3 or 4 F's in it. It's like
Sir
Fansicles.
Feisterly's Fantastical Fair.
Very
I like the writing on this one. I like the description of the fairground after hours, where it's describing like the trash and like these wax papers that would had candy or pastries in them and stuff. But there's an automaton there, and Orianna wants to go and talk to Firum, who's this automaton, and she starts talking to him, and she's, they're talking back and forth, and she's kind of connecting with him, and there are these moments where like she'll shrug her shoulders and kind of internally or maybe even externally talk about like how it's a new gesture that she's trying out. It doesn't quite know if she's using it correctly, but she's trying to kind of connect with Theorem. And as she's talking with him, she's kind of talking about like, I want to go see the world, and so I like to ride the rising howl and watch the sun set, and look out at the open world, and I want to get out of here essentially. And she kind of wants Theorem to come with her. And at the same time, there are a couple of guards, just kind of night watchmen. Who are like, hey, what are you doing? And they start giving her guff. And so the ball starts, it's like a little action piece gets kind of like jammed into the story where the ball starts fucking with these guards as she's trying to, Theorem is in a glass-like container, and she's trying to get him out. And as she's trying to get him out, the things that he has said during their conversation start to get repeated, and the things he had done, like he had done little magic tricks, start to get repeated, and then they're not really reflective of the situation. And as things continue, Orianna kind of realizes, oh, he doesn't really have a consciousness. It's just like a little sideshow type thing that just gives responses and just goes through a preset loop instead of like things that it does. She realizes there's no spark of life in it, and she leaves. And that's just kind of the end of the story. I don't remember what she does to the Night Watchman. I think she just knocks him out, and she's kind of leaves.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Which, I get it, Ori. Like, we've all been tricked by smart chatbots before. You thought that this boy wanted to go with you. I thought
I know,
Cam
I
Girl
was-
and OkCupid wanted to play Smash Brothers with me.
No.
We've all been there.
I thought Smarter Child was my best friend.
Theorem just needed like $12,000. He's got a prince over in Nigeria, So yeah, she fails the Turing test a little bit, but it's
Aw. I liked this. It was very sad, the like dawning realization she had that he was just a toy, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like as a reader, that was my assumption going in, but the way his responses were like well curtailed enough, or
Yeah.
or not curtail. They matched with what she was saying enough. I was like, maybe
They're like catered.
Catered. Yeah, that's the word. That's the C word I'm looking for. I was like, maybe he is, and something will happen, and like maybe it won't work out. But then like as this action sequence picks up, and he starts like he's pulling flowers out of his sleeve like he did kind of at the start of the story. I'm like, that's no. It's a little tragic. I like it. It's sad.
Yeah.
And despite loving the name Sir Feisterly's Fantastical Fair for the name of the fair, Sir Feisterly's Fantastical Fair Friendly Fearum is too much for the name of this attraction.
That was too many F's for John. You need 2 less F's.
They crossed the line.
5's your limit or whatever.
5 F's. It's too many.
We talked about like the different expressions that he was trying out. I really liked this line in here where Fearum said, "Your smile is," and she said, "Fabricated? Yes, I'm still mastering certain expressions." And he's like, "Beautiful," was the word I was going to go for.
She sounds very Data to me in some of those interactions where like she can kind of communicate like in a way that is a facsimile of emotion, but is still at the core you can tell is still just replicating it a little bit, which I like. That's an interesting way to take her, especially if you're not going to do it with like Blitzcrank, But,
yeah. There's a quote here too that said, "Orianna's clockwork ball hovered beside her as she passed a stall overflowing with roses, which, according to a sign, smelled like each day of the week." So, I mean, I don't know what scent is associated with Monday, but I bet it sucks. Mondays, am I right?
I thought you were going to say lasagna or some bullshit.
No, he wrote that whole joke in his notes, by the way, so he didn't forget to say. Even down to the "am I right?" and he spelled it AMIRIT. Just one word.
Did it have pause for laughter?
You're letting people peer behind the curtain.
He's just.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think anyone heard that and thought that was like a off the cuff joke bit that you just did.
Maybe I'm very clever. I feel like maybe you're undercutting how clever I am off the cuff.
But your clever off the cuff jokes are really funny.
Do you not remember the free balling?
Yeah, the free balling was great.
Earlier.
You didn't write that down, did you? I don't see that anywhere in your notes.
Mondays, am I right, folks?
He's our own Fearum, right? Like we're slowly realizing that.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Also, a fun thing, she walked by a wind-up monkey holding a pair of cymbals in this story. It's a little fun call out.
Do you want to
there.
write down your joke that you wrote next to that?
No, I already wrote that it happened.
It?
Oh, I see. I see what you're talking about.
Yeah, he put "run" afterwards.
Is it in all caps?
Sometimes I just... No, but it does have an
It
exclamation
does have an exclamation point.
Sometimes I write things for me,
She walked by a wind-up monkey holding a pair of cymbals. Run!
Sometimes I write it down and then I decide in the moment
It's not right.
that I'm too good for it.
But the Mondays, am I right, folks?
Yeah, that one was gold.
Oh man.
So yeah, that's that.
That's what we have of Cain and Orianna. I like it, but I don't have the reference to her old lore. What I didn't like is how it does not fit her in game whatsoever. I really liked her quotes. That was something I remember the first time I noticed what Orianna was saying when I was playing her. I was like, "Oh, you're creepy as shit." I love that.
All right.
Yeah, I kind of like it too.
Yeah.
I think even
the ballet thing doesn't really work for me. I don't really get the ballerina thing, but
yeah, that feels super shoehorned in this one especially.
Yeah.
Like that's something that could work. Again, if you had a story where she was, you could, it would be great, a little story where you compare and contrast little girl Orianna and she's watching the dancers and she's appreciating all of their graceful movements, and then now Orianna and she's just analytically ooh, this one steps in 3/4 time, really comparing and contrasting how she's changed. That could be a fun thing to do. But what you were saying about not even just VO, but the way her I don't want to say idle animations, but just the way her character model moves and shit in game is just when she's standing around, it's all twitchy and it just looks weird. And that's something they even get into again in the Judgment, is that she moves in the old lore in ways that are unnatural and kind of off-putting. And it's something that's like super communicated well in the way her character looks in game, but doesn't line up with this shit at all, right?
No, it's wait. I like creepy Orianna. As much as I like this story, I don't like it necessarily for Orianna, and I'm very interested why they changed it, because it's not like they're doing anything with Orianna. It's not like they want to make her good because they want her to be a hero elsewhere in Runeterra, at least not that I've seen. So why didn't they make her less creepy and kind of villainous, I wonder?
That's a really good question. That's a really good question. So do we want to talk about the old lore then, since we've been talking about
I'm
it?
dying to know what the old lore is.
All right.
Okay. So original bio.
OG.
Her dad is still specifically called out as Corn Revik.
Okay.
They didn't add that. That's original lore. But she is actually like a dancer.
Okay, so that makes more sense that she was a dancer before.
Immediately.
Not that
Immediately
she just
off the
likes
bat.
dancers.
Yes. But she is obsessed with League champions, and she really wants to be in the League. So she's training, like she's like hardcore training for it. And actually the bio does not give specifics about this. We don't get specifics about this until the judgment, because they're very vague in the bio. But it said that she died while training, and her dad couldn't save her, so he built a replacement and then gave her life with an infinity gear. And that's Orianna.
Yeah.
Okay, I think you can mesh these. She could be a dancer. I like the idea that she's obsessed with something, dangerous, which could be something in Zaun. It doesn't have to be,
Sure.
tied to
The
League
League.
champ. Yeah, the League.
Yeah.
I do prefer her slowly needing her body parts replaced, though. I find that gruesome.
Yeah.
But
We get some cool elaboration in the judgment as to what exactly happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, when we're doing, so like Mark mentioned, there's like immediate talk of like how weird she is. It said the senior summoners all creeped out because there's nothing behind her eyes, and everything she does is a human movement, but just slightly off.
Yeah. I think they even compare it to Blitzcrank, and they say, well, Blitzcrank is a robot, but there's like a nobility, and there's like, you can see a spark of life. Orianna is like something that is dead inside and is attempting to look like it's alive, and it's just like completely different, subtle, but very like uncanny valley. You can immediately tell there's nothing behind those eyes, and I it's like that's how it opens with her, and I love it.
They also mentioned something, and I don't know, I don't play enough Orianna to know if this is actually something that is in game. It's not referenced fucking anywhere else, but it says there's a floating ball, equal parts clockwork and some kind of electronic techmaturgy. From time to time, a strange eye on a stalk would emerge from within the sphere, examining the surroundings.
Yeah, I'm
The fuck is
fairly
that?
certain that's in game.
Is
think,
it?
I'm pretty sure.
where?
Don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure. Maybe it's. I think there's a specific
Maybe
like
it's a taunt or
or
something?
joke animation. That
Okay.
little like telescopic lens type thing pops out.
Man, yeah, because I hadn't seen that shit ever. I was like, what the fuck is that?
I don't taunt enough in game. I got
That's
it.
some D&D bullshit. So then they're looking at her brain, because the part of the judgments,
That's what they
look
do
in
with
your
judgments.
they look in your memories, and so they look in her mind and they see some memories, and they're like, "Wait, Orianna, are these your memories?" And then they said,
Womp.
"The Clockwork Girl laughed. It wasn't playful. It was cold and mechanical. Those are Orianna's memories. I am Orianna. My father says so."
Ooh.
And we find out that Orianna had been training, and she had a trainer that was actually like training her to be a league champion, and her trainer had a training turret that would actually fire at her. So they were learning how to tower dive on this specific day.
He literally says it's time to learn how to tower
Oh my
dive.
god, that's so funny.
And he sets it so that when the turret hits her, it'll like hurt but not like kill her. But something goes wrong, and the intensity never turned down. And it says the first blast took her off her feet, knocking her into the ground, winded. She attempted to get up. The second blast wasn't far behind. She tried weakly to get up, blood trickling from the corners of her mouth. After the third, she didn't get up.
That's what happens anytime I try to tower dive.
You know, those Orianna tower dives, man. They're just too strong.
Yeah.
I like the idea though that you could be learning how to CS like for like years. It's and you might die doing that shit too.
It's like Hunger Games, training for the games.
And then like the senior summoner, everyone for formality, replied, "We have entered your mind, Orianna. How did this make you feel?" The Clockwork Girl giggled in an inhuman way. "It was fun. I like memories, don't you?" So they let her in, because why not? And they want to make sure that she understands what that actually means. Like, hey, do you know the responsibility that this means if we let you into the league? Like, yes, I will play by the rules of your institute. I will be a good girl. And then it said Orianna made a sound that was supposed to be like a girl squirrel of glee and hugged the ball. While it might have been touching, it was, unfortunately, only horrifying. But yeah, this version of her is clearly what her quotes were for.
Yeah.
It fits much better.
Yeah. And like I said earlier, there's also a moment where she's talking to these summoners and like her whole body is stuck one way and the head turns, I think, unnaturally like too far to look at them. And then like as she's talking, the rest of the body like jerks into motion to line up. Again, lining up with how she kind of moves around and her model looks in game. You know?
Yeah. I'd be disappointed if they changed the way her model looks when you're just standing there, though. I like it so much.
Oh, yeah.
No, they can make that work still. That still looks good.
Yeah, I like this more. She doesn't have any JOJ articles, right?
Yeah, not that I could find.
Yeah, but just for like just these
her
two
nudes
pieces.
haven't leaked or anything?
It's just a
Ori
blueprint.
nudes.
It's like that bit from Futurama.
Blitzcrank gets a hold of him and he's really into it.
His eyes zoom out.
Oh, baby, I'm so sorry.
Oh, now you're good.
Oh my god. Blueprint.
They would write that though. That's the thing. Is that's absolutely
Yeah.
true. If they had thought of it, they would have written that. And that would have been the entire joke.
They're kicking themselves right now, Mark. They're
Right?
so pissed.
God damn it.
Some guy who hasn't worked
Ori's-
at Riot for 8 years is like, "Ah,
Could have had her blueprints leak. All right. Anyway, that's canon and old lore Orianna.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts? I think we've expressed how we feel about it.
yeah,
Write some more stories with the pairings that we want to see.
yeah."
Do it.
Take your fucking pick, really. Like, she is primed to explore a bunch of things about Piltover and Zaun. Because she's also been in both places, too, you know? So she's got that perspective on both places, you know? She's got a lot of potential.
I'm curious where. Oh my gosh, so sorry.
This lore is so boring.
We have babies. I'm curious where she fits in now. Does she blend into these places? No one seemed to stop her at the fair when she was there. Does she fit in Zaun? Does she fit in Piltover? What is she up to? What's Ori up to? What's she
That's a good
doing?
question.
What's her day-to-day like, you know?
You could do a whole thing where, like, she's got, like, a sect within Victor's weird little mechanical cult. Because it seems like they would be really big on her. She is like she's like their Jesus almost, if you think about it. To be sacrilegious, I'm just saying she did the shit that they want to do.
They have her blueprints pinned all over the walls.
Unironically, though, right? Like, she goes into a place and they're all like worshiping, and she realizes these are my like designs and schematics and shit.
And maybe they don't even realize that that's her. You know,
Yeah.
they've never seen the pieces put together.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
I got nothing.
I read that
else.
short story out to the baby, by the way, when I was trying to get her to sleep.
Oh,
She fell asleep, so
Oh.
I'll take it. That's what my goal was. But I was like, I really need to read this lore. You really need to sleep, so I'm just going to read it out loud.
2 birds, 1 stone.
Yep. All right.
Now she's part of a bunch of cinematics.
Weirdly, because I don't feel like... Are they
Mostly
all just
world
like...
stuff.
Okay, world stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
So starting out, she's part of. Well, okay, so she is listed on the
Oh my
wiki
God, I'm so sorry.
as being part of Road to the Cup, the 2013 Worlds cinematic, the one that Studio Mir did, I did not see Orianna at all. So the wiki insists. Somebody find her for me.
I haven't seen it in a while.
Do you need a binky for those hiccups?
They don't
John
work
is
for
birthing
Poppy,
Rebecca
so I
right
don't
now.
trust them.
Now, she's also part of Ignite, the 2016 Worlds theme. The Orianna clip is featured. It highlights when toys from TPA picked off Cloud Templar Shen in the jungle.
I remember seeing that shit IRL. I will say that's one of the few things I remember like actually fucking seeing.
It's
I
pretty
do.
fucking cool. Yeah. You don't get to see mid laners 100-0 tank Shens anymore. That's a thing of the past.
Yeah. That's a thing of the past.
She was also in the Make History 2018 Mid-Season Invitational. Orianna shows up with Lee Sin and Ashe when the narrator talks about building a dynasty. You know, she's just kind of a still frame, but she's there. She's in the Burn It All Down 2021 Worlds theme, where Chovy, as Orianna, is fighting Showmaker as Syndra, which is bad luck for him because Showmaker is Showmaker. It goes as you would expect.
It's a little ball battle right there.
Yeah, a little ball battle of the balls. And then finally, in the Mac client cinematic, Mundo's Newton's Cradle pendulum is made up of Orianna balls. And whenever one on the end gets hit, a blade pops out, which is pretty cool. And I kind of wish that they made this as an actual product you could buy.
I read that in your notes that it was made up of Orianna's balls, and I was like, oh my.
Now, obviously, we talked about the fact that she still got old VO. There's not a lot of quotes. The only one that I have here, like a note on, is I know what makes them tick. I know how to make the ticking stop. Is word for word the flavor text from the Organ Grinder magic card.
Interesting.
Oh, weird. I don't know that card, but it is interesting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look that shit up.
Yeah. All right, y'all. It's AU time.
Yeah, I gotta
All
get
right.
those skins up.
Which, up until the most recent event, this would have been a very quick section. But now she's part of Star Guardian, so you know how it goes. First up, we have Neighborhood Nightmare. Set in a world where champions are gothic monsters, Neighborhood Nightmare officially encompasses Fright Night and Goth. And this one is Gothic Orianna. Her father gave her the light of life, and yet Orianna always preferred the dark. I love it.
I like that.
God.
We got Toy Box. Nar's toy chest is brimming with priceless treasures, but when no one's home, his toys take on a life of their own. This one is Sown Chaos Orianna.
This is one of my favorite skins, by the way.
It's pretty fucking cool. Even the bravest children shy away from Orianna, a raggedy whispering doll as old as the house itself. Some toys just aren't meant to be played with.
Better Gwen. I mean, I'll just say it now.
Yeah.
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 It's hard to make a worse squid.
Oh,
That's so
Get-
mean.
I mean,
Why does Seraphine get the hate? Is just all I'm saying.
because yeah,
Gwen was way more disappointing in my opinion.
That's fair.
But again, I heard like a doll come to life, and I was like, hell yeah! And it was fucking Gwen. Go on.
Next up, we got Event Horizon. In the vast darkness of space are born terrible, beautiful things. Cosmic creatures of sublime love and the unknowable monstrosities of the Dark Star. These are the children of silent gods, and they are finally coming home. In this AU, Orianna is a pure corruptant born from the remnants of star systems consumed by the Dark Star. This one's Dark Star Orianna. Born out of the remnants of a magnificently advanced system, Orianna serves the Dark Star with meticulous precision. She dances across galaxies in an endlessly horrifying performance. The only witness is the silent trail of destruction left in her wake. And they have a short story listed here called Submit to Infinity, which is actually just like the kind of the marketing lore blurb from the microsite when she was released. The weird thing is that it is almost identical to her other lore blurb. The only change is that instead of the only witness is the silent trail of destruction left in her wake, it says her only chorus, the vast silence left in her wake. Other than that, it's 100% the same.
Oh, weird.
Oh.
I like the chorus line better. Chorus line.
Yeah. Next up, we have Sun-Kissed Summer, which is the new AU that Pool Party is now officially a part of because they wanted people to be able to party at the ocean too.
Great.
So now we've got this.
Thanks, Riot.
Set in a summer setting, each champion's equipped with summertime clothing, and it encompasses Ocean Song and Pool Party. This one's Pool Party Orianna. With her latest outfit, Orianna is finally able to submerge completely in aquatic biomes. This brings her great joy, as a day at the beach previously required subsequent weeks of scrubbing salt, sand, and sometimes an angry crab out of her gears. And I've got an early fun fact for this one, too.
Oh, shit.
Orianna was actually first seen in Pool Party Lee Sin splash art, but wearing a different outfit, which is why they said, with her latest outfit, Orianna is...
Okay.
She's got a different swimsuit in that one.
Now I gotta look
Neat.
it up.
Next up, we got Snowdown Showdown, set around the mythos and festivals of Runeterra's Time of Snowdown and real-world winter holiday festivals. All the champion skins were inspired by these regional or festive cultures, and it encompasses 3 skin lines: Snow Day, Snowdown Showdown, and Winter Wonder. And this one is Winter Wonder Orianna. A strange clockwork girl imbued with the magic of the Winterlands, Orianna once lived within a snow globe created by a kindly old inventor. At the end of his life, he freed her, and now she searches for greater purpose, serving in the court of the Poro King. And she makes a cameo in the Be Your Best Santa skin cinematic from 2017, where they're looking to find a replacement for Santa because Brahm's out of commission. She's not one of the ones that's being considered. She's just kind of there as part of the court.
I think this is better Gwen. Now that I think about it, this is better Gwen. Sorry, but
All Orianna skins are just better than
And we've got Be Mine, which is the renamed AU that encompasses Heartseeker and Heartbreaker.
Oh my god, I wasn't sure if it was gonna be her bee skin.
Nope, that's a different one. That would have been good, though. So this is set in a world where romance dominates, and each of the champions wear romantically themed attire. This one's Heartseeker Orianna, a mechanical girl built to find and comfort broken hearts. Orianna still does not understand why people run from her when she's only trying to help them. Still, she goes about her duties diligently, performing beautiful clockwork dances for any who would give her a chance. Sad. And then we have Victorious, which did not previously have a lore blurb introducing it, but we do now.
Isn't it just supposed to be like a fashion show?
Well, I mean, they were a fashion show, but they didn't actually have like a lore blurb for the AU because they were always just like these are what you get if you hit gold. But now, champions conquer their enemies and ascend to new heights, achieving their wildest dreams and showing off their hard-earned spoils to any and all who want to look upon true greatness. Yeah, this one's Victorious Orianna. Her body has been reforged by Piltover's finest artificers and enhanced with experimental hex tech. She doesn't have as cool outfits or blurb as the other Victorious ones.
yeah, that's a little disappointing.
Yeah.
We'll come up with our own little catwalk intro for her.
Wearing a metallic dress, which does not move in sync with the rest of her body. Welcome, this Mistress of the Balls.
Free ball in it, as always.
Mistress of the Balls. Damn.
Name your
Romance
sensei.
does dominate. Shit.
And we've got bees. Set in a world where champions are bees,
one's
dressed as
so
bees or beekeepers. This one is Orianna. Careful not to get honey caught in those gears.
Is that all it said? Oh my god.
The BAU is nothing if
so
not
good.
brief.
I love it.
Sure.
That said,
Yep, with that being said, now we're on to Star Guardian, folks. Get your drinks, get comfortable.
This is Wild Rift, isn't it?
It is Wild Rift. It's part of Zaya's
Son
team.
of a bitch.
Oh, okay. Okay.
In a vast and dark universe, young warriors are chosen by fate to protect the light of the stars. They are destined to burn bright, but collapse as furiously as they shine. This one is Star Guardian Orianna. When this robot girl wished upon the first star, it granted her deepest desire, to become human. With that gift came all the responsibilities of a Star Guardian. Orianna analyzed the risks. Her chances of failing are 1.3%. Of successfully blending in with high schoolers, the odds aren't looking great. Now, as all Star Guardians, she also has her own official bio. So, Orianna, excited. It's got all the bit from the last thing where she like wished upon the first star and all that. Orianna excitedly absorbs any new bit of information she finds, from the whole of history to the taste of every sugary candy. Her favorite discovery? Dance. Her attempts to emulate the hypnotic ways in which the body follows the beat of a song improve each day. And meet her magical medium, Talker. Talker is a delightful and curious creature with an extraordinary ability for analytics. Though constructed of metal, it was given life by the same wish that made Orianna human. Talker's wish is to choreograph a graceful dance among the stars and have the confidence to pull it off. Now, Talker is her ball in this AU, and it is a little owl. It's very cute.
Okay.
Now there's the visual novel Another Sky, which unfortunately I don't have any of the lore for, because this was a Wild Rift thing that happened, and no one uploaded the Wild Rift shit to the wiki. So I don't have any of this, but unlike the other bit, like unlike the Kaisa Akali story, the Zaya story did get its own run of comics to go through the lore instead. So there are 5 comics that kind of tell the story of Zaya's team. So Orianna does show up in that, and the comics are called Star-Crossed. So basically, by the time we meet Orianna, Zaya's already recruited Senna and Seraphine, and now she's looking for some technical know-how. So she, Senna, and Seraphine are spying on Orianna from afar, and they're spying on her practicing being human. But then Dark Rakan opens a portal and 6 monsters on them. So they're having a hard time until Orianna just one-shots all of Dark Rakan's minions. And then she lets them know that the chances of redeeming Rakan are less than 1%. But then they teach her about the variable power of love.
You're saying there's a chance.
And then when the other Star Guardian group was doing their thing, like in the city, fighting like Fiddlesticks, Morgana, and all that shit, Zaya's group was fighting Rakan. And there was like one interaction at this point, which is not Orianna related necessarily, but I liked anyway. So she's got her knives out, and she's like, Zaya, baby, what's with the knives? It's like I don't even know you anymore. She's like, that's a lie. I was always into knives. And then he was like, nice comeback. Where'd you get it? Liquidation sale at the Comeback Emporium? Boom! You got joked.
We have fun, you know.
We have fun here. Mondays, am I right?
I, from now on, am getting you only Mondays merch.
But it's all going to have Garfield on it.
All
I don't want
holidays,
it.
all birthdays. It's just going to be hating the Monday. Sounds like someone's got a case of the Mondays. So it'll be Garfield and Office Space.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true.
That's good.
Oh, you get your ass kicked for saying that.
Fucking love that movie.
When they're watching her practice be human, is it like Mulan, like practicing being a soldier before she goes down into the camp? Because that's what I picture in my brain.
I love that.
Um,
Let's get down to
It's a little
They
bit.
start
She's like,
singing about
to be
Hans.
tend.
she's just kind of like giggling and stuff, like ha 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 ha. No, that wasn't quite right. Ha 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 ha. And they're just like watching, like, what the fuck is she doing? Anywho, the fight with Rakan doesn't go great. He gets away, and they have to be rescued by Ori and MF. But then they all join forces, and Ori says, "This will be fun," like her in-game quote.
Wow.
Oh, she said it.
Yeah, she said it.
That's the title of the movie.
In the end, they chase him down, and they fire everything at him, but he's too strong. But then Zaya learns to embrace the darkness in herself and mix it with the light. It's very Kingdom Hearts, and then she sends all her friends back to Valorant City to safety and saves Rakan herself. And then they all live happily ever after.
That's not very Kingdom Hearts because I understood it.
No, I'm sure they all eventually live happily ever after. And this has a few cinematics. We got Everything Goes On, which is a music video, which, I mean, this song fucking slaps.
Oh.
And the music video is heartbreaking. We don't see a ton of Ori, but she, Seraphine, and Senna stop Zaya from accidentally jumping off a roof, chasing one of Rakan's feathers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the New Dreams cinematics. These are the vlogs for Zaya's team. In Seraphine's blog, Orianna's calculating the damage dealt to test dummies by the team. Seraphine deals 55% damage to the test dummies. Senna deals 250%.
Oh, man.
Then Seraphine gets all sad.
Why is Seraphine even here?
She brings the power of heart.
My heart and your heart become one heart. Don't look at the other side of this heart.
Don't look at the darkness of the heart. Later, Seraphine trains, and she also deals 250%, so it all works out. In Orianna's blog, Senna's watching Ori practice dancing, and then she gets caught, and Ori says, "I'm doing it to practice fight choreography." And Senna's like, "I mean, it's cool, Ori. If you want to have fun, just have fun. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be a thing."
What is fun?
And then we see them in like an actual fight, and Orianna's blogging, and it looks like they're going to lose, but then she has Talker do a massive hit that saves everybody's life, but it damages Talker. And then we see her repairing him, and all the other Guardians give her a big hug, but then she manages to fix it, and she and Zaya have a moment where she's like, "You fixed Talker?" And she's like, "I'm beginning to believe anything can be fixed with a little help." And then, they haven't rescued Rakan at this point, so Zaya gives her a knowing look. Like, I hope so.
Aw.
Yeah. And then in the final one, all the Guardians have like this touching moment about saving Rakan, because they're all just kind of chilling around a table. And Senna, for the record, loves romance novels in this AU.
That's adorable.
And they like catch her reading it, and like they're asking her questions about it. And she's like, "No, it's about star-crossed lovers and doing anything you can to, to rescue the ones you love." And Seraphine was like, "Wait a minute, that's like..." And then Ori's like, "Zaya." And then Zaya was, outside the door listening, and they see her, and she runs away, and she's crying because she's still sad about Rakan because they haven't rescued him yet.
No.
Yeah. But they do. They rescue him. It's good. And those are the AUs, folks. That's
Good job, honey.
That's it.
Cool.
That's all of them. We did it.
And we did it.
John's
We have a few
smoking
fun
2
facts,
packs
though.
today.
Yeah.
Babies, am I right?
Nothing drives you to smoking.
Just blowing it in the baby's face.
It's not the 90s anymore, Mark. Calm down.
I learned everything I know about parenting from watching Pinocchio. Yeah, the Lost Boys.
Okay,
What?
I got it. No, I
that's
got
it.
it.
The I forget what the date island is. Pinocchio, when they all go and they smoke cigars.
Yeah, they're like throwing it. They're just throwing cigars to those children.
Yeah, they changed that in the live action one.
What?
Weirdly enough, they don't have the kids smoking cigars anymore.
When can I be on my own?
And they drinking root beer. Oh my god! If y'all haven't seen the Pauly Shore Pinocchio movie, you owe it to yourself.
Father, when do I get out to be on my own?
What the fuck are y'all talking about? I have no.
I
Pauly Shore
highly...
Pinocchio.
Okay, we're going to send you that trailer.
This was
funniest
apparently the
shit.
fucking year of Pinocchio remakes, because we had the live action Disney Pinocchio remake. We've got the Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio remake, but there was also a weird ass fucking Pinocchio remake where Pinocchio was voiced by Pauly Shore.
Yeah, I don't know why. And he is supposed to be a little boy still.
And he was not trying to sound like anything other than Pauly Shore.
Okay.
We're going to have to send you...
Father!
No. I need your reaction when you see this trailer, Mark. So you're gonna have to watch it when you just hear Pauly Shore speak for the first time is the only point you need to watch up to.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, go to your fun facts, John. I'll find this video.
All right, fun facts. Orianna's voiced by Heath Pennington, and Star Guardian Orianna is voiced by Xanthi Wynn in all the Wild Rift marketing material and all that stuff. Her first title was called The Clockwork Girl, but was renamed The Lady of Clockwork the night before her release to avoid copyright concerns.
Concerns with... What is that? Am I just an idiot? Am I like forget like?
I don't know exactly. I actually looked up The Clockwork Girl, but like the only thing I could find was a TV show, but the TV show was like after her release, so I don't think that was it. So it must have been something else.
Yeah, weird. I'm curious what that was in reference to. Also, I'm sure that was a fun fucking release like meeting.
Right?
Great.
I'm just imagining us having to like change the back end's name in the player support tool too.
I'm sure it says something that's not even fucking related. It says like TikTok lady or something like that. Well, before that was a thing. It's just something that's just wrong. Ogre
Wind
lady.
up Wendy.
Right.
Wind up Wendy.
Who's Troll Champ? Oh, that's Orianna.
For real, y'all. We for the longest time in player support, when we had to like do anything related to the champion names, we could not see their in-game names. All we could see were their production names. So we had to like make our best inference about what some, and like a lot of them were pretty self-explanatory, like Wukong was the Monkey King and all this shit. But sometimes you'd see something like Dark Champion.
Oh yeah, God!
What the fuck is Dark Champion? For the record, Tryndamere is Dark Champion. Obviously.
I think that's like what they were called. Yeah. Goddamn. Fuck me.
Weird.
Yeah. Glad that was changed.
Cryo Phoenix. Yeah.
Cryo Phoenix, yeah. Her first incarnation was inspired by Hong Mei Ling from the Toho project, which I now know how to pronounce, thanks to people who let me know how to pronounce it after our item episode. So y'all rock. And the current version is probably inspired by a different character from the Toho project, Yomu Kampaku. Originally, Vido Violante, who is a former apprentice of her father, Corin Revik, created the Atlas Gauntlets, a pair of which were used by Vi.
Oh.
They were really
like old lore how the Atlas Gauntlets came about.
They were really harping on the Vi thing there, huh?
Yeah. Vido Violante. And in episode 8 of Arcane, we talked about this a little bit, but the as of yet unnamed doctor professes that he once had a daughter whom he lost, and the picture of his daughter that he carries within a pendant resembles Orianna.
Fucking hope it's Orianna. God,
cool as shit.
It'd be cool.
And finally, Orianna was the last champion priced lower, and this is going to be a callback for IPRP, but Orianna was the last champion priced lower than 6,300 IP upon release.
Oh.
Yeah. There was a time when Riot released new champions and they'd be like 4,800 IP. And they were like, yeah, we don't want to release everyone at 6,300. And then after Orianna, they were like, nah, everyone's going to be 6,300.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's Orianna.
Very good.
That's it. We did it.
Do you have that trailer?
Oh, I sent it to Mark. Right?
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to like play it over the microphone so you could hear Pauly Shore's amazing Pinocchio voice.
Should I just do that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, right.
Let's
just fuck this podcast up.
Crank it.
Yeah.
This is now the Pauly Shore fan cast. We rebranded last time to the Soup fan cast, but we've evolved.
The Pauly Pals.
When can I leave
Oh
to
my
be
God.
on my own? I have the whole world to see.
Did you hear it?
No.
I'm gonna need you to run back again.
hang on. By the way, in YouTube, they like show you the places people have played it the most, and this is where people have played it the most. Was this Pauly Shore line?
Father, when can I leave to be my own? I've got the whole world.
What the fuck?
When can I leave to be
Father.
on my own?
I've got the whole world to see.
Damn. What a champion. Didn't give a
Right.
fuck. Did that whole
Right,
he did that whole
Pauly
one.
Shore. If you are listening to this, I'm sorry.
10 out
We
of
have
10.
fun here, but like we all know that was a paycheck, and we don't begrudge you for it.
I don't know. I do a
Father,
little.
when can
What's fucking Pauly Shore gonna do to us, John? It ain't the 90s. He has no power anymore. All the kids listening to this podcast are like, who the fuck is Pauly
Why are they
Shore?
losing
But
their
how am I
minds?
gonna get my leaning power tower of cheese?
That
God.
must be a Pauly Shore reference. And I am like 90% sure the only Pauly Shore movie I've ever seen is Encino Man.
That was Goofy movie.
Yeah, you haven't seen
Oh, he's in Goofy movie?
Yeah, he's one of the voices. He's his best friend. Max's best friend.
be
It's been
fair,
a long time.
he doesn't have a lot of lines. That's mostly
Mm.
Goofy and Max.
Yeah, that's most of his lines.
Is that what
and
he
it
said?
featured heavily in the trailer.
Does he sound like Pinocchio in it?
He does sound like
Kinda,
Pinocchio,
yeah.
weirdly enough.
All right. Are we
Anywho.
done?
That's Orianna.
That's Orianna
And Pauly Shore.
I'm really sorry,
Pauly
Pauly Shore. If you
Shoreanna.
happen to hear. Now, someone please draw us a Pauly Shoreanna skin.
Biodome? She's got the ball.
Oh, I have seen Biodome, actually. I forgot about that one.
Your
Oh,
brain
fuck
just
me.
scrubbed
Okay.
it from memory.
It did. I saw it once, and I was like, that was enough.
Was it father-in-law or like what's it? Bride-in-law.
We
Father of the bride.
Son-in-law?
Bam.
We
got it.
can't
No.
just sit here and try to think of Pauly Shore
Father of the
movies.
Bride.
He's in Father
Yes.
of the Bride?
He's the husband that the daughter's going to marry that the dad does not like. Surprisingly
Wow.
enough.
But Father.
Just imagine
I've got a whole world to show your daughter.
Imagine your daughter bringing home Pauly Shore right now. Put yourself in that headspace.
We have daughters now. We can imagine that. I'd be furious if she brought home Pauly Shore.
I might kill him. I don't know what would happen.
I might kill him. Right. We have to
What are we
stop.
talking about?
Orianna. That was Orianna. Thank
was
you so
Orianna.
much for listening. We are coming up on our 100th episode.
Yeah.
Wow. John put way too much into it, and Mark sounded like he wanted to die. So
Well,
The two sides of every coin.
yeah, I'm hoping the combination of the two will be good. Anyway, we are going to do a Q&A for our 100th episode. We're not going to do a regular Champagne episode. So if you have any questions for us, if you could email them at leagueofloreheads@gmail.com, we would really appreciate it.
Or hit us up on the Discord.
Yeah, or Twitter. You can hit
Or
us up on
Twitter. We did our history, so, feel free to ask us
Well,
other
it's
stuff.
just me and John who did the Lore of the Loreheads, but we'll get Mark in there one day.
yeah. Write your questions on a
Yeah.
post-it and throw it into the street. It'll find its way to
Ooh,
us.
yeah, I like that.
We'll find it. Pauly Shore will get it to us. He's not doing much these days.
I heard you have a daughter. Why did we make Pauly Shore just like a raving pervert? I don't know. There's nothing in his history that suggests that he's like this, by the way. I'm very sorry, Pauly Shore. Genuinely.
It triggered like a fight or flight reflex in me when you did that.
You're about to fucking fight for your little girl. All right. Fight Pauly Shore. Anyway, we do have a Twitter. It's at Loreheads. We also have a Twitch, twitch.tv/Loreheads. John streams very regularly every Saturday, generally, or Sunday. Every other week he does TFT, and then he does a random indie game. Yeah, he'll hang with you if you pop on in there.
Yeah.
I'll stream again at some point, League, but it's been rough. John's been back at work. It's just a weird time. We have a YouTube as well. We post these episodes there, and John has some parody songs. Maybe a new one. Maybe Free Ballin' will be up there soon. I really genuinely hope so. We do have a Discord. The link is in the description of this episode, and it is pinned on our Twitter if you want to hang over there and chat with us. And we have a Patreon. Thank you so much to all of our patrons.
But a very special thank you to our Medarda tier and all chat tier enabled patrons. If you were poisoned in Zon, I would also slowly replace your body parts so that you could live on.
Oh, Jesus.
They'd be all shitty,
Sounds
though.
cool. It's romantic.
Are you going to list them? Or?
Yeah. So a special thank you to
Taking your body parts.
Chloe Things, Kindred Enjoyer, King of Hearts, Mylect, Rel, Shupa Mustache, and Techno Robert. Y'all rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank y'all.
Thank you. Yeah. Hopefully we'll have a new Patreon bonus episode.
Oh yeah,
by the time this comes up.
We're brewing something right
Brewing
now.
some Halloween special.
We did the prep work.
Yeah.
Now we just gotta pull the trigger.
Okay. And oh god, I don't have this open. And join us next week because we're going to talk about the fire below the mountain, Orn. Is that what Orn sounds like?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Oh, Jesus! I thought you were doing Earth.
Well,